felt so close, seemed to all blow up in smoke. Well, let me whisper in your ear. Angie, where will it lead us from here? Oh, Angie, don't you wish, 'cause your kisses still taste sweet. Oh, but I hate that sadness in your eyes. Hey, Angie, oh, my pretty Angie. Oh, ain't it time that we've said goodbye? Oh, with no loving in our souls and no money in our coats. Oh, you can't say you were satisfied. And Angie, oh, I still love you. I love you, baby. And everywhere I look, I see your eyes. Oh, there ain't a woman that comes close to you, my Angie. And come on, baby, come on, dry those eyes. Hey, Angie, oh, my pretty Angie. Ain't it good to be alive? And Angie, you can't say we never tried.
I'd rather be with, I'd rather be with an animal. I'd rather be with an animal.
Hey, Chris Liepe here, continuing with the Michael Jackson Studio Multitracks series here on the channel. If you haven't yet, be sure to check out the playlist where, as of right now, I've got close to 30 songs broken down like this. I'm particularly excited for Speed Demon. I know that it was considered kind of a filler by some on the Bad album, but Michael Jackson's mix and head voice, particularly in that middle section of the song, it's unlike anything I've heard on other Michael Jackson songs. And I remember hearing this for the first time going, wow, that guy's got a high voice. And honestly, I think that this song was one of my first exposures to what I would later dive way deep into when it came to mix and exploring my head voice further. And the way, of course, that they layered and produced the vocals is amazing as well. By the way, if you'd like to study your voice with me in a way that is creative, unthreatening, non-judgmental, and helps you unlock stuff like this, click the link below in the video description and join my free course. That's the best place to start, and we can work together a lot more from there. As has become tradition, let's appreciate some of the instrumental goodnesses before we dive into the vocals. Love the percussion nuances here. A little bit more than percussion, but... I love that tubular sound on the kick. That's an interesting mix with the claps in there too. That having the pipe kick. Those are some of the subtle nuances that you may feel or sense, but don't really pick up on when you're listening to the full mix. I love stuff like that. That's one of the reasons I've enjoyed these multi-track Michael Jackson breakdowns so much. Bass. That same section with some guitar. Coming over here into the same combination. And a little more just because I can't really get enough of that groove. There's really nothing quite like an MJ song bass line. The simplicity, catchiness, grooviness, and the way they fit in with the other melodies, the other parts of the arrangement, like these guitars. Some keys and strings. It's neat to be able to pan different things in different places to get perspective on how they fit together, but also you can separate them in the stereo field in different ways so you can hear how they complement and also how they're distinct. You get a sense really for how the layers were built and conceptualized by being able to pan and mess with them like that. Right, like how the keys, that percussive nature of the keys, start the line, the string line that then ends up waterfalling and then has you expecting, even before you know it's a loop, another bum, 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 bum. They're the same part, even though they're different parts. They work so well together. That's part of the instrumental arranging that is present on so many Michael Jackson songs that sets the stage for the vocals in a unique way, but also makes you want to keep listening to the track, especially in the full mix, because you hear these, it's almost like you hear promises being made and you wait to see if they're fulfilled. Like the way that these songs are arranged, this song in particular is arranged, you have that sense that there's things being laid out and then there's a fulfillment of that. And then some of the things aren't fulfilled till later. Tension, release, promise, fulfillment of that promise. Okay, let's get into the vocals. Like I said, this is one of my favorite tracks for Michael Jackson's high mix. The footsteps.
I'm headed for the border.
Got to listen to that beginning. All you hear in the main mix, because you're hearing all these other instruments, you don't hear the beatboxing elements or the body percussion going on. This is far more beatboxy than I ever thought. Far more percussive than I thought. I'm just hearing the parts. Whatever.
I'm headed for the border.
I want to do something real quick. I want to accentuate those in-betweens even more. What I've done is I've increased the gain on this section, and I have a master bus limiter. And so what it's doing is it's bringing up these in-betweens while slightly bringing up the apparent volume of these peaks. His jaw! But we can hear the detail in here much more now. Let's enjoy. Got that little gargle, or a gulp, which happens to also be in rhythm. And then the syncopation here is just mint. So cool. All right, let's go on to some of these other vocals.
I'm headed for the border. It's on my mind, and nothing really matters. I got to be on time. Look in the view mirror. Is it hot on my tracks? Is it getting nearer? I feel some heat is on my back. Just speeding on the freeway, gotta get leeway. Doing it on the highway, gotta have it my way. Mind is like a compass, I'ma stop in nothing. Just pull over, boy, and get your ticket right.
Right. How he accentuates that T on beat and delays it a little bit. Amazing. Love the foot stomping throughout. Continues that even as he's singing. I've always listened to this section, though, and heard Michael's voice at the beginning as like, is it supposed to be la da da da? And he's just off pitch. Like, it didn't seem as locked as I would have liked it to be. But listening in isolation here like this, it's a lot more speech-oriented.
I'm headed for the border. It's on my mind.
The pitch is there. It's actually fine. It's just, I think, buried a little bit in the arrangement, or at least how I was hearing it. But it's also not da-da-da-da-da-da. He's not really zeroing in on the pitch. He's allowing himself to arc pitch-wise.
And nothing really matters. To be on time. Look in the view mirror.
The pitch is remarkably good, but it's not the focus. The rhythm and the speech level engagement is the focus. That's a huge lesson to me. After hearing these in isolation, that's a revelation. Interesting. All right, let's listen to these background vocals here. We heard them in the bleed.
Speed demon. Speed demon. Speed demon. Speed demon.
You can hear the exits as slightly different on each one, which is kind of fun. Other things you really don't hear in full mixes, especially in background vocals. Okay.
Yeah. Pull over, boy, and get your ticket right. And nothing gonna stop me. Ain't no stop and go.
One of my favorite climbs that Michael Jackson has ever done. Right here.
And nothing gonna stop me. Ain't no stop and go.
You hear how the mic saturates as his voice saturates? It's just, love that for years. And to hear it in isolation like this, with what, like, I thought I was hearing, I am here.
And nothing gonna stop me. Ain't no stop and go.
Go! Go! That note. That note was one of those notes that, in the context of the other things I was listening to at the time, made me want to work on distorted vocals. The way he approaches that note.
And nothing gonna stop me. Ain't no stop and go. I'm speeding on the middle way. I gotta really burn this road. You just
love how he sets up the background vocals there.
gotta really burn this road. You just Speeding on the freeway, gotta get Liepe. Doing it on the highway, gotta have it my way. Mind is like a compass, I'm stopping at nothing. Just pull over, boy, and get your head right.
Listen to the percussive nature of the I. That onset there is.
Mind is like a compass, I'm stopping at nothing.
I'm stopping at nothing. Really hard to make a hard onset as equally percussive as a consonant, and he's doing it great.
Mind is like a compass, I'm stopping at nothing. Just pull over, boy, and get your head right.
Okay, here we go.
Speed demon, you're the very same one who said the future's in you and the life you say could be your own. You preaching about my life like you're the law, gonna lavish then. I'll be like, for me there's no tomorrow.
We got to listen to it a bunch more times because there's so many notes that take on a different character than the overall character and add then to the overall character.
Speed demon, you're the very same one who said the future's in you and the life you say could be your own. You preaching about my life like you're the law, gonna lavish then. I'll be like, for me there's no tomorrow.
Okay, let's piece it out a little bit. Now that we've enjoyed the full thing.
Speed demon, you're
Okay, do you notice speed? Speed is head voice. Now, he's not thinking about what he wants to do in terms of head voice, mixed voice, chest voice. He's just in it. But his muscle memory, his training, his practice has led him to be able to be this versatile with his voice. But listen here to the first couple notes. Speed is head voice.
speed demon, you're
For time, speed demon. I'm going to exaggerate it to make a point. Speed demon. Then he's mixing on demon, bringing in that chest level support in a similar range.
speed demon, you're the very
And then your light head voice, falsetto-y, right?
you're the very same one who said
And then does the same thing on very strong head voice. And then same is mix.
very same one who
Very same one. And then backs off on one.
said the future's in you and the life you say could be your own.
Going back and forth between this subtle mix, strong head voice, weaker head voice. It's interesting where he takes the breath right there.
One who said the future's in you and the life you say
You've heard him do that on other songs. It's like, well, I'm in the middle of a phrase. I got to take a breath to keep going. He doesn't miss a beat, literally doesn't miss a beat, but it's an interesting place for a breath. Not many people other than Michael Jackson can get away with that kind of thing.
one who said the future's in you and the life you say could be your own.
Hear how he grows into the mix a bit there?
And the life you say could
It's like this. He starts in head, and then over the course of the phrase, he transitions into a subtle mix.
and the life you say could be your
And the reason I'm doing it without the consonants and without the words is because it's a great thing to practice. I'm opening up. This section of this Michael Jackson song could be an hour voice lesson in and of itself. There's so many things going on in terms of studying.
and the life you say could be your own.
Backing off into the head voice again.
Own. You preaching
Now here's where he really does some interesting growth and weight changes and resonant changes in and out of mixed voice.
You preaching about my life like you're the law.
Okay, you hear that extra sheen, the extra bright? It's like you're the law. Again, I'm exaggerating to make a point.
You're the law.
You're the law. You're the law. And then,
You preaching about my life.
right, bound is heavier and mixed, and this is you preaching bound. You preaching bound.
You're the law. Gonna lavish then. I'll be like, for me there's no tomorrow.
Tomorrow. That was the moment for me. Like, what is that voice? Because he's transitioning from this whimpery sound, whimpery head voice sound, into this tomorrow. He's singing it a lot faster, but he's got not only the rhythm down, the way he grows into that. Okay, let's also talk about this cool gritty sound.
You're the law, gonna lavish then. I'll be like,
There's a sense that he's pushing himself past his limits, but he's not.
I'll be like,
Because there's still a pitch there.
I'll be like, for me there's no tomorrow.
Such variety. Again.
Gonna lavish then. I'll be like, for me there's no tomorrow.
One more time.
Gonna lavish then. I'll be like, for me there's no tomorrow.
He is, but he isn't at the top of his range. He's the pain and soul that and the like stress that he's communicating here is so amazing, and that's a lot of what this is driven by. But he is technically capable of doing this without all of that. That's what makes this so interesting. Is the pain, tension. Although I'm using that word in a different way here, and like is there helping us connect with what he's doing because it sounds difficult. And the variety is part of what makes it sound difficult, but it's likely not difficult. It's part of the performance aspect. And there's so many different colors with that grit where he's pushing himself beyond his limit just for a second, but he knows where those limits are and where to push, and it's manifesting as cool, healthy grit too. So many cool things. Okay, let's listen to this section one more time all the way through now that I have nitpicked it. And you can just appreciate all these tiny nuances and differences in what he's doing here. So much more complex than you'd ever think. Let's also put the background vocals in for fun.
You're the very same one who said the future's in you and the life you said could be your own. You preaching about my life like you're the law. Gonna lavish then. I'll be like, for me there's no tomorrow.
Those background vocals are another reason you don't hear as much variety out of Michael's voice in that Michael's lead voice in that first section. But what they provide an amazing contrast and complement. Wow.
Go! Go! Go!
And that grit, right? Go! That's a compressed. He's got a higher voice by far than me, but it's this idea of like, go! No. Go! 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 As you're dialing stuff like this in, be okay with letting your voice crack a little bit. Most people, when they're trying to dial in some sort of distorted thing with their voice cracks and then they go, oh, oops, I cracked. And then they don't have the ability to deliver themselves over to the intensity that they need to support and compress correctly. And they can't ever do it. But you have to be able to abandon into this. It is about holding back air in a very specific way. I've done a lot of videos on that, and I also talk about that in my course.
Go! Go!
Go! Go! Go!
Go! Ow!
Oh, yeah, classic.
You just speeding on the freeway, gotta get Liepe. Got fire in my pocket, I just lit a rocket. I just pull off a boy and get your ticket right. Pull off a boy and get your ticket right. I just
Love the soul of that line.
pull off a boy and get your ticket right.
With that consistent sort of rasp, ticket, happening over his voice.
Pull off a boy and get your ticket right. I just pull off a boy and eat your ticket. Pull off a boy. Pull off a boy and get your ticket right.
I like the voice he's putting on that T. Tuh, tuh, tuh. It's not just tuh, tuh, tuh. His voice is engaged in that percussiveness.
Pull off a boy and get your ticket right.
Away from the mic, that's cool. Freedom, freedom.
Get your ticket right.
Da, da.
Pull over, boy. Get your ticket right. Pull over, boy, and get your ticket right. Pull over, boy. Pull over, boy, and get your ticket. Eat your ticket. Get your ticket. Eat your. Get your.
Okay, let's listen to this. This is another one of those lines. Listen to how he moves his resonance around. It's like, oh, that's a crass exaggeration, but musically, if we're thinking that and then listening to this, it's the fact that his dynamic resonance is there that we like these lines so much. Listen again.
Pull over, boy.
It's not just, oi. It's not also just, oi. That ability to be dynamic with how you place your voice, that's how the soulfulness is actualized.
Pull over, boy, and get your ticket right. Pull over, boy, and get your ticket. Eat your ticket, get your ticket, eat your, get your.
Yeah. Inhale there.
Get your ticket right.
We heard that little sniff at the very end. That's so fun. And before I forget, we've got to enjoy these breath tracks a little bit. Clearly looped and manipulated sonically, but based off of MJ's breaths, and it just takes what he does so naturally, and it's another one of those things that's fun to hear in isolation in a way that you can't appreciate them if they're in the main mix, buried with all the other percussive elements. Thank you for sticking around to the end and enjoying one of my favorite Michael Jackson vocal performances. Again, if you'd like more help with your own voice and really unlocking what it can do, not everybody can do everything that Michael Jackson can do, obviously, but there's a lot more potential that your voice has, that if you learn to be free and non-judgmental with it, you can unlock. Click the link below and join my free course if you want to join me. Also, be sure, again, to check out the Michael Jackson playlist that I've done, all the deep dives. We'll see you for more. Hey, Chris Liepe here with special guest Lauren Babick. We are talking about how to belt.
Dirty Diana, no. Dirty Diana, no. Dirty Diana, no. Dirty Diana, let me be.
Before you belt, before you try to belt or experiment with it, you gotta be warmed up. We have a new warm-ups course for you Lauren goes through how she mindfully warms up, really test and figure out where her voice is for that day through a series of questions, and then reacting to where her voice is in order to get the most performance out of the voice. Click the link below and join her free warm-ups course.
How to awaken your inner monster.
What is the first thing that you do to find your belt?
It's as simple as saying hi to your neighbor.
Okay.
Hey, neighbor! So we're taking that initial that hey, which is going to activate where we're going to breathe from. And you're going to feel the poop muscles, which I know you talk about,
Yeah.
and I like to talk about. And you want to feel that. And the H sound is really good for activating that.
It's a mild way to, and I feel when I do it, this like, I feel my whole body kind of do that a little bit, but you're engaging for the first time, thinking down. And then the other thing about hey versus the rest of the phrase is that we're focusing on opening up and lengthening, getting our vocal tract, our throat out of the way so that we can really feel that belted sound come out right in the front of your face, right? And right. Hey, neighbor!
Hey, neighbor!
Hey, neighbor!
Hey, neighbor! Hey, neighbor!
Hey, neighbor!
Hey, neighbor!
Ooh, yeah, the sound difference is... Okay,
So that one I'm letting the air out through both my nose and my mouth. Hey, neighbor!
which is less belty.
It's less belty and it's less controlled, and you're not really getting that pressure buildup or that resonance right up in your eyes almost.
Hey, neighbor!
Hey, neighbor!
Versus hey, neighbor!
Hey, neighbor! Hey, neighbor! Hey, neighbor!
When you're vacillating between these different sounds, it's not that one feels or sounds louder than the other. It's that there's different timbres and your voice almost throws differently.
It does.
The belt, I sense that like resonance in your face, but it almost comes out and like gets my face. Like I can feel that interaction. Whereas when you're moving it and placing it in different places, it sounds more trapped. You have to be aware of how you can manipulate your placement and resonance so that you can belt when you want to.
Dirty Diana, no. Dirty Diana, no. Dirty Diana, no. Dirty Diana, let me be.
So experiment with hey neighbor, moving that placement around. The key thing to realize here is that your belting is more about where you place the sound that comes out consciously with your mind than it is about how much you're pushing your voice. Experiment with that. Make sure you're good and warmed up. Click that link below to join the free warm-ups course that Lauren and I have put together. We'll see you for more. To say I'm excited about this video would be a drastic understatement. There are so many of you who have reached out to me and said, well, I think I'm getting mixed, but it's too thin. Or, I have power up to a certain point, and then I just feel weak. I can't get my voice to do what it wants to. I can't build a powerful mix. Well, learning from Ronnie James Dio and Justin Hawkins in a very specific way as we compare their approaches may just be the thing that helps you get what you've been wanting to get. A powerful mixed voice. important things before we start juxtaposing these mixed voice marvels. If you don't know how to add support, how to use your support correctly across various areas of your range, this stuff isn't going to work. You aren't going to understand this second important thing. If you need help dialing in your support and using it in various contexts within your singing, click the link below and join my free voice course, and I'll help you do just that. Okay? The second important thing is a phrase. And I'll be explaining this phrase as we go on in this video and how it's so important. The phrase is weight management, specifically vocal weight management. This right here is what both of these singers expose well in different ways that has really lit some things up for me in my own mixed voice. Let's listen to just a bit of Justin Hawkins here, and let's talk about his vocal weight.
Can't explain all the feelings that you're making me feel.
Now, I'm sure you've all heard Justin Hawkins talk.
Welcome to Justin Hawkins Rides Again, the podcast.
Without knowing anything, would you say that his singing voice here, what you just heard, is lighter or heavier than his speaking voice? And would you say that this opening passage from Ronnie James Dio is lighter or heavier than what we just listened to in Justin Hawkins? There's no wrong answers. Just do this mental exercise with me.
When there's lightning, you know it always brings me down. 'Cause it's free and I see that it's me who's lost and never found.
Maybe my face gave a little something away there, but then again, maybe it didn't. My goal is to take what each one is doing and go, play with it, stumble upon little victories as I'm being completely abandoned into the experience. This is the only way to do it. This is the only way to do it.
Can't explain all the feelings that you're making me feel.
That's a light sounding voice, even though it's not that high. I can do things with my vocal posture. I can bring my resonance around in different places. I've done lots of videos on this kind of thing. But let's not overcomplicate things. Let's just try in our own voices to make things lighter or heavier in different parts of our range.
Can't explain all.
Can't explain! That's heavy. That feels heavy. Sounds heavy. Can't explain, can't explain, can't explain, can't explain, can't explain, can't explain. Ooh, there's all sorts of range of weight there, right? Now, if I play with that range of weight, doing all sorts of different things to generate that, just asking myself, is it lighter or is it heavier? That's really all for the moment.
Can't explain all the feelings that you're making me feel.
Can't explain, can't explain all the feelings that you're making me feel. This is where a lot of people go, right? They get in one area, like, this is my belt voice, I'm in a belt. Can't explain all the feelings that you're making me feel. It doesn't work. But if we know how to manage the weight of our voice as we go around different notes and sing different words using different vowels, feel, yeah. I could never do that if my voice was heavy. Feel, yeah. I can't even reach the note. Now, wait a minute. Dio sounded heavier and he sounded like he was also singing higher. Let's go back to his voice. Before we make any snap judgments, let's try a few things.
When there's lightning.
When? Let's just hit that note any way I can. When? Very light, right? When? When? He sounds nasal. Now, I notice when I make my voice sound more nasal, it tends to lighten it a little bit, even at a lower pitch. When? Huh, cool. When? Now.
When there's lightning.
Ooh. When there's lightning.
When there's lightning.
Ooh, does he make it heavier on light than when?
When there's lightning.
Light! When there's lightning! And then he lightens it up on lightning. So, okay, what I'm getting at here is that this weight management thing is highly dynamic. When we really listen to Ronnie in isolation, almost every note has a different weight. You say, well, yeah, of course, he's very good at doing that. Yeah, he is good at it, but we can get good at it too if we have this mindset. He's not approaching his voice with a single weight. This allows him to be weightier, appear weightier than the Justin Hawkins passage, and be higher, be more powerful, but only for parts. And this is where musical acting and clever, innocent deception helps singers a ton. If I just take this phrase,
When there's lightning.
I don't even worry about the pitches. I just worry about weighting each sound differently.
When
I'm going to lift something heavy on when there's lightning. When there's lightning. Just expressing with it the different weight. I'm adding so much weight to light in my own voice there. When there's lightning. Then I'm backing off. But so much weight on light that I can't lift it. Like my voice is giving out. It's cracking. But then I'm leaning into the fact that it's cracking. And it's creating an interesting side effect. It's kind of cool. Let's try a different part of my range. Placement, right? There's all different ways to add weight or take away weight. When there's lightning. There's this arc. There's this arc of energy, an arc of weight, even as I'm low right here, helping me get used to managing my weight across a simple phrase. When there's lightning. When there's lightning. When there's lightning. I'm going to get away from Dio for a moment and go over to Justin Hawkins.
my heart's in overdrive and you're behind the steering wheel.
Subtle. He's doing the same thing here in a different way. Listen again.
My heart's in overdrive and you're behind the steering wheel.
You're behind the steering wheel specifically I want to hone in on. You're behind the steering wheel. I'm really exaggerating it. Really exaggerating what he's doing in my own voice. You're behind the steering wheel. You're heavier and higher, lighter and lower. I am getting my mind really used to the idea by workshopping a small phrase like this over and over again that lighter isn't always an accessory just to go higher. Lighter can be used as I'm going lower. I can be down here. Lighter. Really not light. Or I can do it the other way. I can go heavier as I go higher. I can do both. And I should be able to do both interchangeably, regardless of whether I'm trying to go higher or low. I can go lighter or heavier. This is huge. Listen to this phrase again with this kind of thinking in mind. And listen to how he lightens up as he goes lower.
My heart's in overdrive and you're behind the steering wheel.
Steering wheel. Steering wheel. Now, is he thinking about this? No, but he's worked in lots of versatility and flexibility into his voice, and this weight management is absolutely part of it. Now, listen to how Justin manages his weight over this chorus. Hint, it's not just when he's going higher, but it is when he's going higher. But there's more to it. Listen for it.
I believe in a thing called love. Just a turn of my heart. There's a chance we can make it now. When I look into the sun goes down. I believe in a thing called love.
Is this lighter than what follows?
I believe in a thing called love.
Don't worry about classifying things as mixed or head or anything. Just what it sounds like to me is this right here is heavier than this. But listen to how he exits his phrases right here.
Just listen to the rhythm of my heart. There's a chance we can make it now.
There's a chance we can make it now. Right? He transfers his weight there.
Just listen to the rhythm of my heart. There's a chance we can make it now.
Make it now. And he goes up to his head voice. Then he makes it really light. Make it now. La 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 la. Weight management. It involves dynamic resonance, placement, support, all things I help work with you directly with in my free voice course linked below. But especially when you're trying to dial in a mixed voice, we don't think about this. We just think about, oh, I hear a singer singing high, I need to match those notes, and I need to sing and mix in order to do that. I'm telling you, this weight management thing is the ticket across little tiny sections. Having an attentiveness to how these singers are modifying the weight of their voices across these micro sections of phrases is what allows them to exist in the mixed voice that we hear. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bounce back and forth between approximating different phrases in each of these singers. I'm going to bounce back and forth because I don't want to get locked into trying to imitate either one of them. I want to work on this idea of weight management. And the things I do are going to sound crazy, but you're also going to see, as they sound crazy, and even because they sound crazy, I'm able to dial in with this weight management principle lots of amazing, good sounding stuff.
There's a chance we can make it now.
There's a chance we can make it now. There's a chance we can make it now. Heavy. There's a chance we can make it now. Light. There's a chance we can make it now. Lighter. There's a thing that's up to the but da da. Ooh.
I believe in a thing called love.
I believe in a thing. I believe in a thing. Heavier. Ooh. Ooh, okay, that was cool. I added weight. Let's go over to do some Ronnie.
When you've tried, do they hide deep inside? Is it someone that you know?
Ooh.
Is it someone that...
Yeah, is it someone that you know? Is it?
Is it someone...
Is it someone that you...
Is it someone that you know?
No, heavy on no.
Is it someone that you know?
Huh.
Is it someone that you know?
That you is lighter.
Is it
someone that you know? I'm gonna sing it like Justin Hawkins might. Is it someone that you know? Okay.
Is it someone that you...
Now just on some.
Is it someone...
No, I'm gonna make it heavier. Is it some? Is it? Don't worry if your voice cracks. Is it someone that you know? 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 Turn up the contrast. Light, heavy, light, heavy. Is it someone that you know? And let your voice do what it does. Is it someone that you know? Is it someone that you know? Is it someone that you know? Now, I got there by thinking, light, is it someone that you know? And not by trying to commit myself to an overall tone of the line. It was thinking about varying the weight and therefore, by proxy, varying placement, varying support, loudness. I'm resonating in all sorts of subtle different ways by letting myself free into ridiculousness and explore the fringes and then gradually, comfortably dialing those things together. Yeah, is it someone that you heavy? Now let's take a minute and listen to this vocals up version of Even Flow that I did at the beginning. Make note. See if you can name in your own mind when I am adding weight and taking away weight. This is going to trickle down and infiltrate how you approach your own voice, especially when you're doing mixed voice, because you will be able to use different weights to access different notes, all within one phrase intentionally.
Freezing, rests his head on a pillow made of concrete. Again, oh, feeling, maybe you'll see a little better sunny days. Oh, yeah. Oh, I know faces that he seen time again ain't that familiar. Hey. Oh, dark grin. He can't help when he's happy. He looks insane. Oh, yeah. Even flow. Thoughts arrive like butterflies.
What does it feel like when you take a single note, single phrase, single vowel, and practice moving with different weights? And all that that implies with all the other ways you can move your voice around. If you'd like more help with this, check out any of my other videos on mixed voice, and make sure you join the free course so that you can harness the optimal support and placement options for these kinds of working with your voice. I hope this was helpful. Leave questions and comments below. We'll see you for more.
And every time you speak her name, does she know how you told me you hold me until you died? Till you died, but you're still alive, and I'm here to remind you of the mess you left when you went away. It's not fair to deny me of the cross I bear that you gave to me.
I often get asked, how long should I practice singing? And what should I practice when I'm practicing my singing? You should be able to practice singing all day. And as far as what you should practice everything. That advice sounds snarky, overgeneralized, and frustrating. I realize that. But let me unpack what I mean. We're all busy people, and we're also conditioned to live in this checkbox type mindset. Oh, let me get all the things that I need to get done today so that I can do the things I want to do. Check, 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 check. And the danger of getting too far into that sort of way of thinking is that we think more about just getting things done for the sake of getting them done and not experiencing things and growing in the midst of those experiences. If I were to give you a number, like practice singing 30 minutes a day, you might say, well, in addition to what should I practice for those 30 minutes, you might say, well, what if I can't make it that long? Or what if I feel like I can go longer? When we start thinking about an actual time and as far as a number, we miss really the point of actually practicing and what we can get out of it. That leads me to the next comment I made at the very beginning. What should you practice? Everything. Those singers that get too caught up in a goals mindset of like, oh, I've got to make sure and get my time in today so that I can hit that certain note or so that I can learn that certain song, end up getting into a tunnel visioned sort of achievement mode that results in burnout, even if you're only practicing for a short amount of time per day. If you're being legalistic and too achievement oriented so that you can accomplish your goals as a singer, the same problem happens that I described earlier when we were trying to stick to time. We forget about the value of experience in the midst of striving for something we want to work on or improve. It really is possible to practice, move in and out of different things and different experiences and experiments with your voice all day long. Think of all the ways that you use your voice. Think of all the ways that you express yourself throughout the day. All of these ways can be used, if done mindfully and considerately, can be used to practice your singing, your vocalizations, and how they relate to singing. Every single day, I am taking inventory of how I use my voice. Am I using range-filled dynamic speaking, for example? How does it feel when my voice starts to get tired from talking for longer periods of time? What kinds of things do I do to compensate for the fact my voice is getting tired? What happens if I'm in an environment where I need to shout, or I feel like I need to shout? What sorts of compensatory things, I think that's the right word, am I employing without initially thinking about it to make sure that I don't blow my voice out when I am raising my voice for long periods of time? There's so many opportunities for me to start practicing part of a melody line, experimenting with a way that I might go in and out of a certain line or phrase with regards to a song that I'm working on. In fact, those kinds of murmurings and mutterings all day work their way into almost every cover that I put on YouTube, including this example.
I will walk, roam my roam patiently.
When I said patiently, going in and out of my head voice like that, changing the notes around, is very different than the way Chris Cornell originally sang. That really came from me walking around the house, picking stuff up that the kids had left laying around, and just sort of halfway thinking, experiencing a different way to sing that line. And then when I got to the point in this song where I was doing it all in one take, I felt more comfortable with that playful way that I approached the line than I did in the moment going for how Cornell sang it. And so it actually brought me a lot of success to pull on how I had just haphazardly or practiced that line without really saying, okay, I'm going to sit down for this amount of time and practice this song. Most of the time, I don't practice songs all the way through. I mutter and play and dance around and do things sort of in little tiny pieces and just become very playfully familiar with a particular song. You can do this sort of all day practicing with songs, but you can also do it with all sorts of exercises. And if you'd like some great exercises to get you started so that you have ways to experientially and freely practice, click the link below and join my free voice course. You will absolutely never run out of things to practice if you join that free course. The next time you are tempted to ask, what should I practice or how long should I practice? Employ this type of mindset that I have shared here. Practice all day instead of setting aside a rigorous time that you have to get to and so you can check off a box. And practice everything or anything. Work on some harsh vocal things. Little tiny bits here and there playfully as you're doing other things throughout the day. Work on singing high notes. Work on your belting voice. Work on your wonderfully developed, comfortable falsetto or head voice. Work on all these things, but pepper it in throughout your day, throughout your lifestyle. I guarantee you, you will be more free and more in love, increasingly in love with your voice if you take this practicing mindset. How to get your perfect voice? Wrong pursuit. You will never get your perfect voice. You'll never get the voice that you want until you embrace the voice that you have and look at singing as a journey, as an experience for the long haul, not as a pursuit of various goals. This is really important. As soon as you learn to love where you're at as a vocalist and really focus on what you like about your voice, until you do that, there is no path for improvement. You see, we can't beat our voice into submission. It's an instrument that lives within our body. We have to take in influences and inspiration and meld those with what we already do well, and then enjoy the journey of those becoming one.
I'm gonna spread love or hate. I'm Are you gonna spread love or hate?